on an open wound. It's cold, it's cold, it's cold. Gotta break the stranglehold. I have sealed myself, I have cried my tears. Now I steel myself to defy my fears. And be strong, be strong, be strong. I am right where I belong. As the sun breaks through, watching from a bird's eye view, and I won't lay down. There's a darker shade of courage in the strength I found, and it's letting loose the savage side of me. You can yearn for life to be simple, or you can learn from strife. Let it build your core and refuse, refuse, refuse. Don't you bow to the abuse. And as the night falls blue, watching from a bird's eye view. And I won't lay down. There's a darker shade of courage in the strength I found, and it's letting loose the savage side of me. Fall down at the edge of my mind. So much horror behind burning heat. Get back to my feet. And I won't lay down. There's a darker shade of courage in the strength I found, and it's letting loose the savage side of me. Letting loose the savage side of me. Letting loose the savage side of me.
Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Well, I had a new idea, which is essentially play 24 hours ago in real time. This is actually 2 days ago, so I haven't updated the local data set. There might be some other things I want to work on first, because there are going to be some details. Like, you'd really want to, at that point, interpolate from, like, birth to death and things like that. Because these were always 1 hour of data time, which wasn't necessarily representative of the people that were alive. So one of these, I don't want to get reset all. Alright, so that will be back to there. So one of the things we kind of had left out of last time was that if we did do some sort of time view, we can still click around and get people from not the current time. And actually this appearing here is one of the things I might want to work on. Which might actually involve rewriting our time layer a little bit, or our point layer, so that it can better integrate with the time control thing. So given that we have a time, though, select points. Now, I think, yeah, the event we give this on time load gets an event that has a time. So there is a map.time dimension, so in theory we can always go fetch that. The problem, or It only matters if we're in time mode. Here, but we use the same code for this one. And it just, we're only getting time on event. So really I kind of need to know whether we're a time layer or not. So probably we should do point overlay, so it has a pane. That is a global option. A create tile. So this has an options data. Point overlay, anim overlay. Set options. Well, this is going to be when we create the anim overlay. We should have a time dimension. There's a time dimension control, time dimension, time dimension. And making it a proper time layer might be a different way to do that. On monument layer add, draw tile, point overlay. So right now we've got time. And this is what we're going to need to know something about. What do we make available here? Times first available and last available. Oh, no, these are options. Events. Get available times. Get current time. Yeah, the synced layers are I have to make this into a syncable layer. Which, from what I can tell, really doesn't work with the tile layer thing I'm using currently. So I'm going to have to turn it into a render all at once setup. So time dimension, get current time. If this dot options dot time dimension dot Get current time. So what that in and of itself would do would say that this is always respecting. Oh, you probably need to do a redraw when we get data. But now when we ooh. You should still have a time dimension, though. Okay, available times, current time index. Yeah, so that goes with time undefined. So that's going to be a bunch of spam. I guess I need to do like before and after time. Yes, we got time. Oh. Oh. I think I was pre-converting that. Yeah, time equals ev.time. So this is the different, the raw data was in 1 second Unix timestamps. The JavaScript is in 1 millisecond Unix timestamps. Oh, and that actually does cause a draw. Yeah, so now when we zoom with time, we actually maintain our current time position. So that's one step. Draw tile. And that might keep it a little bit faster. Yeah, you don't see the blink without the console log, or without the console log. Time when zooming. So that's related. Preserve time. All right, and now that that map has that attribute, select points. All right, so we filter by location. And then we want to refilter that. I mean, I guess it's a little bit lazy to iterate twice. So we want to return Let's see, so we don't have actual like birth time and death time yet. Right now we're displaying them for 1 hour. So we want to say, so there's our current time. This is, you could sort of call that end. End minus 60 minutes. All right, so first of all, this layer gets stuff all over the place. This layer should not get stuff all over the place. And then if we move on from there, well, our time family did pretty well. Then we can't select that area. That's also a note. Filter by time when selecting an NM layer. All right, cool. So one of the other things I wanted was the ability to highlight someone's lineage. We can jump to one person. But I need some extra little thing to like re-highlight their lineage. So that is going to be a little bit of map UI to have a control for it. This may also get into a data fetch operation, which, well, I guess if I want to expand a lineage, I actually would want to display it here as well. So keeping it as a string would avoid having to re-encode. Well, it should typically not be... Yeah, I guess some families can get into the thousands. Alright, so we need control. Is it not view? Oh no, we are in view. What do we call things here? Let's see, we do have lineage. We've got a view, we've got a sidebar, a search box, a result, life list header, show matching life. Alright, so we've got a name row and a data row. So you probably want like a separate button or gen maybe? We would have to do something to indicate that was a separately clickable thing. Also, yeah, we've got events.onClick here. So can we handle more specific events? So right now, our URL is strictly location. I guess focusing on a lineage might be an interesting thing. I'm just thinking that a click or a link could take us to a lineage. So we'll have to work on the styling for that. So we've got an L. Of course, this is going to require us to do a bunch of stuff. I guess if we sent a none, then that would not trigger this if it did in fact take over. Okay. So we're definitely still getting our focus effect. So I guess the question then is, are we getting both or are we getting only the higher level one? No, we can actually put this in here. All right, overlay add. Okay, and then we got the URL updates. So we do get both. And I'm always starting in dark mode, which is not good for the Elm package site. So this will be an event thing. No indication of handling bubbles. Does the base package have a method for that? On stop propagation. Yeah, so they're focused on ordinary cases. So we would actually, well, I think we'd have to drop down to HTML. A message and a bool that decides passive event enabling optimizations. Hmm. Yeah, so sub-targeting is kind of annoying. All right, so we have HTML attributes, or no, HTML events. I just did on before. Do I even use that anywhere? Yeah, a little bit. I still need the attribute to take that in. Propagation. HTML, no, actually this is HTML attribute. Stop propagation on. Click. I need a decoder. I don't really need a decoder. I need, well, yeah, just need a message and bool. All right, what are you not happy about? Oh, we need a dummy argument here. Well, no. It needs to be a decoder. Success is a decoder. Stop. I swear I fixed this. Succeed. Decode, not decoder. All right, so that sent only the none. Now, we'd probably want to be doing... We need some kind of USI feedback on that. I almost think I should just have like a separate button for lineage. But right now we have an L here. That would have to make this a row. And that might kind of throw that out of whack. Which has a L, which is that. And then has, I guess really a button would be the appropriate thing. No, that would be an input thing. Oh, but you have a button. Oh, maybe buttons handle the priority. So we could actually say wait, you're a maybe message? Oh, because it can be a nothing. But the example doesn't show that. Do we have another button? Not currently. Label. Gonna be temporary for now. I'm going to keep you. It does say maybe. Needs the second argument to be, oh, label is an element. So it could be anything. Okay, that does not stop propagation. So you actually are nothing. So is button just a clickable thing then? Because the label isn't, well, yeah, it's a clickable thing. It has a roll button, so that's something. Which is still kind of good signaling, but it does not do stop propagation. Okay, so we're still getting the none. But somehow we're interfering with our stop propagation. Right. So apparently the only way to do this is with a regular element. So maybe we have to go and do our own roll button stuff. Or I need to like chop off a area somewhere on the side of this. Because this is a very small target. That would act. Now we could highlight separately from the click area. That would be fine. Or we have a separate target area that is jump to this person. Or jump to their lineage. Which cuts into display space a little bit. And are we going to want other actions later? These don't necessarily require any other per character options. So this is too small of a target. And we're like doing hacks to try and get around the click hierarchy. What if this doesn't need to be a row? So that's a row there. That is a column of those things. This actually makes this a row, which is going to have Well, not exactly this. Which contains all of this. Is that right? I guess so. And you are going to be... Oh, you used to be the outermost element, though. So on-click pointer. And then we have another element. Which probably will have to have a width. And this will kind of break some of the other width stuff. So name doesn't have a width. Birth time might have to give that up so we don't hit a scroll bar. Expects 2 arguments, but was given 3. Ah. How was I... Ah, you are a 2 argument thing. Alright, we did not... Right, because we're kind of redoing that. So you... become a... No, input.button. Now that we've got a completely separate area, so we do have that clicking here does nothing, clicking there does that. And a button actually doesn't do any of that stuff. It has a on press and a label. All right, we can distinguish events now. We need to do matching changes to our header and apparently shrink our font size. We might be able to give up a little bit on you. It's still pretty tight, though. And maybe a little bit on you. Jen could get a little bit wider than age. Okay, maybe we can take the... Is that enough? Oop, that hadn't recompiled yet. Okay, yeah, that's tolerable. The header just has to be adjusted as well. So you also need, well, it's not going to be exactly like this, but yeah, so really all we wanted here was the padding. For parity, now, are you going to need the width fill? Seems to be fine. Oh, now we've got double padding. Although, is that right? Maybe this does belong down here still. I think that margin needs something there. Padding, not spacing. Hmm. Anyway, so row, column. Interesting. Oh, you have all your widths changed. So these, you went down, you went down. L. Yeah, you actually go up to row attributes, essentially. Uh, we lost our L somewhere. Yeah. You need to close. I might just leave this as a blank. I think what I eventually want to do is have some sort of icon there. Actually, there is a none, isn't there? Just so we take up the space. And can I just say center? No, we only have center X and center Y. And we're more interested in center X. No text focusable. So I guess it would really have to be the label that's centered, not the button. Because this thing has a width, we want to be centered in there. So in order to have attributes, this has to become an L, which contains a text. And hopefully we'll replace that with some sort of icon later. Alright, so that will be better once we get a proper icon for it. And now we actually have to do something with it. So I can send the entire life. Really all we need is the lineage ID. I don't imagine we would ever be selecting a lineage absent a life. Show matching life. Now our main program needs to handle that. So that we could do with just a focus, which did in fact need a life. Select lineage. Now, in many cases, we'll be able to do the currently available data. But if it extends, like if you go to time view, go to the beginning of time, well, I don't have a good way to clear selection. And say I want their lineage. There's a good chance that's going to extend beyond our current view. So that's a singular focus. So it's not going to be focus. It might just be model here at this point. And we need to send a command. So fetch matching lives only does term right now, but it's going to be something similar to that. So API URL and fetch lineage. See, we are storing a lineage as alright, that got moved to view so they could share it cheaply. We are storing lineage as an int here. Lives with int lineage. It'd pretty much do fine to have it come back on the same return. So we might actually be okay there. Now, did I actually implement that as a parameter? Oh. No, we have multiple Eves. That can't be the correct lineage. Well, admittedly, this is getting cut off. Oh, you do a limit 100. We probably don't want limit 100. We still shouldn't have a bunch of Eves in a lineage. Oop, not you yet. Oh, that was apparently a very large family. Or I haven't actually implemented this parameter. Yeah, I haven't actually implemented that parameter. So back to the data server. I implemented that for the family trees, but not for general life search. Yep. Alright, so this will actually allow us getting lineage of a particular player. Because we're going to highlight people who were the same player. Lineage. And this is one of the reasons I need to get around to adding parameter checking so that it will just say, hey, I don't know that parameter. Param server ID. Right, then we can do the server name stuff. Player ID. Lineage. Oh, I need to send... I mean, still need to send server ID and epoch, though. So really, you do kind of need an entire life. So technically, I just need all those parameters. It'll be a little bit easier to do that. So server ID. Epoch. Lineage, life dot lineage. Oh, that's right, we changed format. Alright, that seems... well, we got a Sora that could have been a renaming. Or maybe Parsons got renamed. And a Coco. I guess all around the same time. Let's try... Not sure what's going on over there. A little more. So, the Maybe family. This does not make me trust lineage very much. And just one of them got over there and lived a lot. Well, there are definitely maybes there. Maybe I picked too big of a family after all. Alright. Isolated Eve. Should only select itself. Okay. It's a little bit of a sanity check. Oh, well, there's Sora again. So people were traveling. But no maybes. How about the other end of the map? What about you? That seems far more reserved. A bunch of nameless people? Ah, okay, so this is the Heaven family. We should actually go back to, yep, an Eve Heaven. Yeah, so there were just like a couple of intermingled families during that time period. Huh. You can see some of the transit there. Okay, so we had T and Sword. And I kind of need a better select method, but... and then you could jump around. Oh. You really ran out there. Oh, and there's another one. You can't select into that. Well, I'd have to go back to here and then find that point again. Which loses my family selection. Oh no, that's the T's. Oh, is this a different T family? Hmm. I'm wondering if I should have some way to select the points themselves. Interesting. Now, we are sending good parameters here, right? We're also getting our map tiles in there. Server epoch. Oh, and I've still got update. Maybe I should commit with that on. Well, no, because this is the whole selection thing. I think we're still working on that. Alright, so that's functional. It's ugly. Anything to retire here? We sort of have that. It's not really done yet. Alright, so I think... that this doesn't really have any account stuff. Selection. So those are things we might need. Is there anything that would serve... Well... I was wondering if maybe I should cross-link to family trees, so we've kind of got two lineage icons going on. We got some map icons. Could be used for going the other way. People. I mean, that might work. That would be more like the family tree, although it is also lineage. Well, yeah, the people icon doesn't necessarily suggest. And these are things I might probably want to use eventually. Some sort of title would probably be good. Yeah, so we've got that, which could be, if we ever do a cross-link to family tree. And that sort of suggests related people. Might want to grab that one at some point. Let's see, the map would be going the other way. I don't really know. I don't have anything else. Now, one possibility is that some of these icons, well, specifically the time dimension icons. Oh, no, when I'm running the local file, not when I'm running local host, I guess. Will break sometimes. So I've kind of wondered about replacing those. If they would replace cleanly is another matter. Users. downloads. It's going to go into the map. We have a work directory. I really don't need that. No, not leaflet. Alright, so we used to be able to put these in the body, now we don't. Symbol defs. Public. And we're going to need some support code for it. Well, this is going to be an interesting mix. Yeah, potentially a mix between Elm and JavaScript for using this. Alright. Now I have other apps where I've done this before. So in our index, oops, we don't need to view it. So this is a separate style sheet. Index. I think that's all this. Well, you've got some style stuff. Did you have a separate style file? You do not currently have a separate style file. We might be getting there. Yeah, we're probably getting there. This is oh, this is time dimensioned. I mean, we're still probably getting there. Although, if I do update this, then I have to deal with the CDN stuff again. Alright, we do not have you. These are going to be default colors in this case. So it's just those if we apply them. And then in Elm land, oh, this is not going to be a... It must be in the public directory. This is not going to be an Elm UI. Do I have these in an Elm UI project? Actually, yes. And some of these in the family trees. Which is just straight up part of the footer. Now, our footer isn't going to be quite the same thing. So the links we'll have to come back to, but we have the icons. Icons. So that allows us to go to U. Oh, this is, oh, we need all the SVG stuff. Oh, this might be used row, link, label, row. Okay, it accepts an SVG. We're going to need this stuff to be able to display it. All right, so we just say icon. Now this was icon tree, I think. Well, no, we were going to do icon users. Oh, I can rename this, but it's fine. It's the icon. Oh, we actually have to install this. Is it Elm SVG? Okay, that is not obviously a button. It could be interpreted as just a person. Another one of the giant families. Looks like it was an interesting time. So right now it's just an element. I could give it a border. I could give it a background. So we've got background, color gradient, images. We've got border, border.width, border.style. That sets round, which I'm not sure if that affects background. Well, probably would at least want some sort of hover effect on. Well, it's got the entire thing's a pointer, so that's not necessarily going to be a big clue. Yeah, yeah, separate hover effects would be something. That's probably a module for that, right? Well, it's one of the events. It's focus. So the general gist of this library is not to do CSS, which could be a declarative hover. But to do mouse enter and mouse leave. Are explicit and easy to modify. I don't know, mouse enter, mouse leave always make me nervous about getting out of sync. And I would have to get the event, get like the enter and the leave event, send them to the main application, which would set some sort of focus attribute, and send that back to the view to update. Which seems like a lot. I mean, I guess the CSS is kind of doing it for... Okay, that is not... icon name. I guess maybe the SVG itself has some sort of title. That means I might want to, in fact, do that by how I'm using it. There's that. SVG XUs. Symbol defs. Title. Yes, they've got titles. So we would actually want to make this like... maybe there's a better way to do that higher up. Or maybe you want us to do an explicit hover effect. Yeah. There's not a terribly good way to do that. All right. Now, I probably still can class particular things. There's no attributes. Font keyed lazy region. Because, but everything has attributes. So we would have to do an explicit thing to do some CSS setting. And really seems like a lot of trouble to do the hover. So we've got our button in here somewhere. Icon users, roll button. Oh, that means this thing has a roll button too, right? Rather than an event.onClick. So then you would be... Oop, what do we do? And our label is... I actually deleted the column. I shouldn't have done quite that much. So is this input? Then we could talk about doing things to buttons in a sensible way, or to roll buttons. Oh gosh, what? There's so many rows of indent. Okay, so it's only one for that. And this is where it might start to make sense to extract some of this. I don't need pointer, which actually means we could compress that. And press. Did I want... Yeah, I guess I do want the entire row, but this... Oh, the selection effect. Elm isn't too bright about the element merging there. I'd have to do like a player ID keyed on these, which would also make it, to let it preserve that, but they're going to change a lot very often. So that's a roll equals button. I don't necessarily want to do that to everything. Maybe everything over in the sidebar? Which we would then have to identify. html.attributes.id. Which is going to make that much larger. HTML attribute HTML.attribute .class. I mean, I guess this could actually be an ID as well. Attributes. So now we want all the map stuff. Sidebar. And let's start with a static selection, just so we can see we've got it. I guess this is still kind of the fastest way to get something up there. Okay, so we've got it. I might want some height on that. I guess that would be padding on the label. Alright, so however, we want to make this hover and something a little bit more subtle. I think we're already in off-white. So I guess the one bad thing about this is it does kind of take our colors out of all being in one place. But the state management there is just unpleasant. Okay, that was backwards. Okay, so that actually kind of works. Okay, there's the button. The button has a definite width. The height of this thing is just kind of its height. Okay, so that actually worked out relatively well. A little bit different, but... Oh, well... Goes off the edge, but... Wow, there must have been a road here. A lot of people. Well, or just the bells. I had to make some change to the server, didn't I? Which I don't think I have open yet. Engine, life search. Alright, bunch of new files. Git add public work. I know we got lineage search working. Add icons. Alright, can I? I mean, the lineage is just parameters. I'm gonna have to make my sidebar wider. Now this, properly speaking, is a link. Okay, sure. New tab link, probably. Attribute message is going to be a URL. Which, I guess, properly speaking, should be a config thing. Just in case. We're going to have to construct this here. Which is going to mean getting all the URL management and construction stuff. Well, I guess we just start with model probably isn't grabbing this. Yeah. So we've got our config object, which is going directly into model as separate items. We've got our, well, actually, this would actually be straight from the lineage server, right? Family tree viewer. Query URL, extract. Oh, this would also be built in the view. I guess I did just kind of do it inline. URL builder, display URL. And that's when I did just pass individual arguments. Icon format. Oops. Lineage URL. You're not a location though. What tools do we have? Well, this might be a builder thing. From string. So we could just do from string. But we are, no, we're building URLs. So this would actually be, okay, yeah, cross origin string. They might not be able to do it because they're being pedantic about paths. So what we've got is probably a string. We could try cross origin base. No, it's custom to have a hash. Okay. Custom string query parameter and just and this does return a string. Let's see if that compiles. URL, oh, right, we're URL equals lineage URL model dot naming is hard with life dot server ID life dot epoch life dot player ID. We need all our URL stuff. Right. Really? Okay. Maybe string. Oh. Oh, okay. Right, because it was a maybe. So that actually solves a little bit of this. Lineage URL icon. Let me format it very badly. And there we go. Now, I might actually want to swap the order on these. U not roll button. You are an anchor. Oh, and I wanted to swap those so that the thing that stays on the map, the two things that stay on the map are close to each other. Must have reloaded too quick. But that reselected. And someday I might have to go back to having a cross-link to the map from here. Now you can pick out a person, and there's lots of precise here. Oh, and it does accept the path as part of the route. All right, lineage URL. Just remember to update that config. I don't even think I had that as a to-do. We just so we have release. We need to update server. We need to update config. We need to publish icon files. Crosslink to lineage viewer. Well, so I guess this is still going to say tree, but SVG. All right, notes. All right, I have not had to rewrite the base layer to be time linked. Oh, my header needs to change. It's like just such a small area that I can't put a... Yeah, maybe I could do a small text in there. So our header needs to have... So right now it's that. And that pushed us over the edge. So right now that's our only reference to this. Left list header. The header? Oh, okay. No, because you are two different things. You are, well, no? Hmm. Right, it just we didn't have the name. So like everything in hmm. So I was trying to keep the structure the same. So that it takes care of any padding and spacing issues. Yeah, that's so I probably do want to have these separate. Because you're gonna need to be a little bit smaller. I might have to do that in the label. Similar to what we had to do with the button. Mm, it's not really centered though. In fact, I just messed everything up. Uh, so probably the way to do that would in fact be to go L, L, okay, that kind of works. Now I'm wondering if these should be over here though. Yeah, because that's farther, if you're going over here in the map, that's farther travel for the more unusual actions. Well, okay, so last step, we forgot to update this. Now we want to do move you down there and you down here. Oh gosh. I think so. This is where I was thinking I might want to abstract this. And now we need to reverse them, though, because we want the one that's most similar to the main action to be closer. Okay, that does... That might... maybe the gen label actually gets too long if you cut that down. Oh. Okay, so yeah, we'd not reduced that one yet. No, we need a very specific case here. Okay, that actually seems to be fine. Oh, well, it's a big family. So they were all in here. Died out there, and the E was down here and went north, it looks like. Oof. A little bit laggy. Now these... Okay, no, it works. Oh, is this right? So this is kind of nice to keep all together. But I just can't keep track of my indentation level here. So I might want to keep the button logic together and then have the main result column be the thing we extract. Which used to be like our entire result. That is almost show matching life, and now we've added things around it. Huh. The highlighting effect is up here. It used to be part of it. And are you just a life? No, you're also a model. Able equals shell matching life detail. Okay, everything seems fine there. So for maintenance, I might want to also pull this one out so that these two things are close to each other. Life list header, life detail header. Actually, you probably don't need anything. Oh, actually, you are a little bit different because you used to be intended there. All right, it's a column with only one thing in it. And this is life detail header. Swap button position, extract life details. Notes. All right, so now we are between manage downloads and generally showing data. Well, I'm doing a search here, right? Yep, let's compile. Fetch matching lives. Oh, I haven't been filtering this to. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were on a different, yeah, because Boots was on server 7. Well, that's still, I could do a filter for that. It's still going to be a query. If we just want to show, like, the recent lives from somewhere else. And if we did do that, we'd want it to be... We'll have whatever coloring options we're using. Now for the search, it kind of makes sense to have this pop up and disappear when it's not in use. You might want to select some data and then hide the sidebar, which actually is a thing we can do by itself. Although this one we probably want to close the search layer. So do we do selecting other stuff as part of this box? Or do we need like a completely separate thing? And we might have a little bit of space to spare. Not very much. I might need to get out of doing this as layers. So, Well, yeah, even breaking out the monuments to be like a different kind of thing, where you like go into data mode. There's going to be life search. There's going to be monuments. I don't know if you're going to need to search monuments. Well, you might want to restrict it to only ones within a certain period that are likely still around. All right, I might have to do some UI thinking here. Managed downloads is backend stuff. So right now we do there's a couple places we fetch some stuff. So we get our server list. So we have to send that back. On monument layer add. Well, we've already got layer add events in the Elm side. It is an individual layer for each. And we've got you. But we're still going to have an event to send that back, probably as a string because it's going to be a larger response. And then that would just be a event that we kind of throw over. Although this is a lazy event. So yeah, this would be once again, we would well, we'd have to know them by name. It's only checking anim overlay. Right, it's just because it's any one of them. Which means I'd also need to track that on the Elm side. So we're probably... So if we've got two layers, one with time, one without, that use the same data, we just have to track whether we have that data yet. So they're kind of the same layer. Putting up the time controls without having that layer on wouldn't make much sense. All right, so this is still a hard design problem. So I had this idea, which you can do a little bit. Oh, well, you can do this much with what we've got. That gets into a layer question again, because you kind of need to have different time scales on these. Because this one is coarse enough that you can kind of see things evolving. And if you did, this would be like hundreds of frames per second if you were trying to take the other one faster. Yeah, somewhere around there. So then we actually have to have another anim layer that has the time dimension on it. And we have to actually manage the time, it's two different time dimensions. So it's actually two different time controls. Which would get really wonky if you turn both of them on at once. And the interpolation is where that might be more of a day's project. Well, I mean, you can start with this. I guess if we ever want, if we ever want to be doing filtering by server, we're going to need the list of servers. That will be small enough. Well, if I receive it directly as JSON or as an encoded, decoded thing, then I'm going to have to write the re-encoding logic, which I don't think I have any other good reason for. So you need the time, you need the servers to have a selection for that. And we could probably do something from that. So this is pretty much going to be an Elm by itself. I'm just going to have to fetch that on startup. It's going to need a response for that. And I think we're just going to have this as a well, if I re-encode it as, if I do go to the trouble to re-encode it as JSON, then it's a value and not a string, and we don't have to do JSON decoding there. Even though for the larger strings, it's probably fast enough, we'd rather do that. Well, you're going to need it anyway. Which gets us off into a data rabbit hole. Localhost 5000, just ID name. So we're got a couple things in intermediate states right now. We need to be able to decode that. There's going to be a data again. Timestamp is port code. All right, field int. This should really not be nullable. Data view. Oh, we just import whole data. Oh, that's decode. Right. Do I need to encode this? If we want to pass it back as straight up JSON, this is a pretty simple one. Lives life. server, capital server, lowercase server, name, s.name, map UI, yeah, servers, servers. I'm probably just going to set up we can just use this for now. It's not going to be any different. Although that is going to do an impinge upon you. All right, so we got matching live, servers. We're going to skip the translation for now. Oh, but it is still a remote data. Servers, change route to time dot here. All right, so you get passed because it has to be a config. It's real life stuff. You have no parameters. Yes. A little bit too ambiguous there. Decode. Fetch matching lives. You are doing API. I don't think I was actually using this before. Fetch servers. Cached API URL. Oh, there's no argument. Can't find lives variable. Oh. We are going to do something very much like that in a little bit. All right, so now what we expect to see all the tile requests is 2 requests go out to servers. Okay. Which for the is temporarily wasteful, but we'll get there. So now leaflet.elm has to support a server list event. It's going to be very much like this. Okay. Ordering issues. List data.server. Kind. Server list. Servers. 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 A whole map where we get display results. Servers.data. So that was doing a very specific thing there. When we fetch the server list here, so fetch monuments, which has to wait until the map is up. I mean, it's just the end of the script. We could still have a timing issue here. All right, now fetch servers. So that was something we delayed until then. I don't think we ever really saved that. We just kind of used it. So I guess one way to do this okay, so we don't start responding to events until we're set up. So that having one that can trigger I might need to have some sort of map loaded event to actually trigger server fetching. So you need to have a map in order to be able to add layers to it. So this could become all right, so we're gonna lose you. All right, so when we receive this, actually this is going to imply a fetch, isn't it? Well, one step at a time. Set up monuments, map, message.servers.data. We're probably not calling that yet. And this is where the timing becomes interesting. What? Oh, it was server name. Did I? Yeah. Probably didn't look at it because it was the same as here. Whole data. Field name. Int. All right, so map setup happened, and so currently the timing is okay. That's server 1. Okay, so that much is still working. Yeehaw. On monument layer add. Oop, what was that? That is our decoder, it looks like. Decode. Did I copy you? I did copy you. I might not actually need the view server yet. Yeah, I was just predicting that I will eventually want to display a server list there. Fetch servers in Elm. All right. So right now, set up monuments has to create layers based on that. And it has a start enabled thing. On add, on monument layer add. Layers control, add overlay. And then this does the add to map. Oh. Okay. So enabling it triggers monument layer add. Well, yeah. Do we ever need this? That's fine. That's fine. I think it was mainly for this jump, which we don't really do anymore. Don't remember when I turned that off. Right, so you get added automatically. And you have the on add event. Which is conservative of data. Right, because it's going to happen every time the event triggers. So to get this fetch moved over, we should already be getting layer add events. Event, overlay add, so we'll have to do a little bit of interpretation. And having an overlay name might be a reason to do a custom server. So then you need to fetch servers based on that, or fetch monuments based on that. And we assume that if we fetch monuments and send them over, well, it's just gonna be a data fetch. I think we need to process monument data. Data. Oh, but that's not going to be aware if you've already fetched it. So if we needed to know if data had been, well, we only need to know if it's been fetched. I guess the data itself doesn't matter much. Well, some map UI. As a very generic event, so we're kind of down to string matching. Do I need to rethink this in general? Well, I might need to rethink it in general, but I'll probably need something like this once I do. We're also going to need some string matching stuff. All right, if string dot contains argument order. The second string contains the first one. So this might go a little bit more nicely with name contains monuments. Could probably even say ends with. Then we're going to do something. Else we're going to do nothing. Oh, and there we go. This is also something I might need to manage. Leaflet. Set view focus. Yeah, nothing here that directly or only toggles a layer. Now this is a case where I don't really need the data per se. I just have to be able to fetch it. Could we decode a response as a JSON value? I don't have that currently. Alright, let's see. Initially, we're just going to be doing that. Fetch lineage. So base URL. Server. I think it's just server ID. Expect JSON. Monument list. And event, server list. Oh, we need to know which one this is. There's going to be something here. And there's going to be something here. Oh, oops. Missed one. Oh, it doesn't allow you to have a placeholder for updates. It's not a case-sensitive search. Life.server ID. Oh. Can update you. All right, so now you have to say if it's here. Ooh. Yeah, this is where it gets ugly. Words would work here. But then indexes are not guaranteed to exist. We're still going to have to get first. Equals words dot any monuments server equals no list dot any oh pattern match. Let's need to test that first. Okay. What we really want to know is, did we get server properly? Okay, so with that, we have to look at our server list. Index map. Filter map? All right, model.servers list.filter map. So I could do a starts with, or I could construct a string. Well, this covers all of our current cases. Well, I guess starts with would actually hold up a little bit better there. If server name then fetch monuments cast API URL ID. Else nothing. And this is actually our command. Argument is remote data. Oh. No, you're not dealing with remote data. Did I say this was remote data? No. Oh, server list is remote data, though. Just not handling. Well, if that gets enabled before we get a server list, too bad. I probably need to have like a remote map operation. It's still not going to be super pretty. This is kind of a don't care in any case where we don't have data. Here's exactly what a map data would be. Oh, indeed. Because it's technically a list. Okay, we requested it twice. We come down here. We need to have a way to send it over. Well, we eventually want to record it. It is a monument list, although it's going to be a little bit different. Well, yeah, a little bit different format. This is going to be just a should be compatible. All right, server list. Oop, probably don't need that anymore. Well, we're still looking at timing stuff. Can we not do that? Type. Oh, I guess I don't need to re-encode it. It's just a value. That was kind of the point. All right, we had to have this thing to call it. Monuments, data. All right, well, what do you do? Oh, you need to have a server argument, much like the response. Ooh, does that help us find a layer, though? So we've got the information. maybe, we could save ourselves a little bit of trouble by encoding the server ID in the overlay. Oh. We already did that. But the onAdded event is not in general going to do that. That's the map on add. Maybe it's add overlay even. Overlay add. Just a name. Okay, so it's got a layer. If I sent that through, it would be possible to encode stuff out. It would be, server ID is a little bit of a specialized thing. I suppose options could end up containing all kinds of things. Well, we've got it by name matching. That would be might be a nicer way to go the other way. So we can go through what? Overlays. What do they give us? Keys, values. Okay. I think this is going to be the name. Okay. If, I'm with multiple things that have server IDs. Okay, monument list, big server 2. So officially we should use set options. Data message dot monuments dot data. Eh. All right, so can we now rely on that entirely? So we have to define that, we have to define that, we have to define that. On monument layer add. Oh, well, we have to do some things with the data. And that's why I needed the server ID. So this is going to turn into more of should probably almost do a subclass here. More of and you're going to have a layer and data. We should be able to get rid of wrapper. So you save the data. Yep. I want to do that again. Monument list. Update monument layer. Possibly could have extracted that earlier. On monument, oh, yep. Layers control, add overlay. We don't have this elsewhere yet. All right. Serverlet map setup seems to be going okay. And the other piece of this would be when we get our server list. Leaflet.server list. I don't have a separate way. Oh, I removed the thing that could add the layer directly. I don't have a way to say go ahead and add a layer to the map. So the easier thing to do on this, I mean, maybe we want that toggleability at some point, is to just say update monument layer. Oh, but you don't have a map. And presumably, this will not double edit. Big server 2. But we have not triggered it yet. Oh, that... What? Oh. Why did we fetch all the servers? Oh, because server 1 is a prefix. Because I'm being lazy. Alright. So we just don't test with server 1, and then we have to fix that for real. When we get server list, we send that to you, and command.batch. Oh, but I have to find a particular server. Servers lists dot filter where this is almost filter map again. If we switch that to be the ID, all right, well, we can cheat there for a bit. Okay, so that works for you. We don't have duplication checking yet, so that's probably a double fetch. Yeah. All right, so that works after a fashion. We did start sending server ID with this event. Overly add, and this is a maybe. Map 2. And presumably there is something we can do. I guess, yeah, nullable could work. Oh, wait, but is that... Yeah, I think it will include the value. And then map UI, overlay add. Oh, this actually does allow me to do some distinction here. Because if this is just server ID for now, that gives us an immediate. Okay, so that is... Only the monument layers have that. So this really just compresses everything down. Probably should have kept some of that. Metal. Oh, field name server ID. Oh, okay. So we do have to do that a little bit differently. Shouldn't it at least... Did I not? Get around to adding that? Maybe I was going to do it and I was like, oh, not yet. Ev.layer .options .server ID. Okay, and it, sure enough, added that layer by default. But when it does that add, it's going to come along and request again. So servers... core set. We need a set empty. Now this complicates the fetch monuments, which does happen. That's only when it responds. No. Fetch monument. So we get a server ID. We get the server list. We assume that's okay. It should be on startup. This is where we need to model or monuments fetched. Monuments fetched. Insert. Isnert. Monuments fetched. And then when we do an overlay add, if model monuments fetched member server ID nope. Still in object mode. There's an update. It's often convenient to expose the data type. Server IDL. Server IDL. All right, we fetched it. That looks lighter already. There's one. All right, so we're only fetching it once. We're turning that on automatically at start. We solved the prefix problem by switching to IDs. We only fetch them once. Do we leave any debugging spam in? I don't see any. All right, notes. Manage downloads is WIP. We don't have everything yet. We pretty much just got our recent data here, but I have kind of gone a little bit late-ish. And then for usable features, well, wait. Why'd that break? Oh, because that's a layer without a server ID. I never actually changed you to be... Wait. Decoder is such a pain because you can't see the intermediate value. I think isn't there a way leaflet event, decode event, is a decoder. Leaflet event is a port, which is the tagger. So this is a really fancy tagger. A decode event does get a value. Decode value, but I can't really print that because it always considers it to be internals. Expecting null, expecting an int. It was not a null or an int, it was an undefined, probably. Yeah, so it's just being really picky. All right, so decoder. So I said it was nullable. Optional fields. So age, name, height is not present. We must have a field named height, maybe a float. But that's not nullable. Okay, and then we've got this, which is actually almost easier to do this. So we've got our ability to look up lineages and stuff. All right, is that all of our debug logic? Okay. Manage monument download in Elm. And oh, I also had. Okay, so we have to update the server to support the lineage argument. The config has to be updated to support the lineage, the family tree server URL. And I have to remember to also push up the 2 files for the icons. Oh, and my to-do list needs to have use other icons, because I put those in place to maybe use down here somewhere. Alright, but publishing will be a later offline thing. So that is it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. Let's see, do I have anything to recommend myself? No. Alright, well, no other, like, other small stream doing web development that I know of, that I can sort of vouch for. I do see Toaster Fuel working on a game in Unity. I have noticed some swearing there in the past, so if you mind that, just be advised. Otherwise, if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.